Hello again. How's it going, guys? Crazy times indeed. Like many people, I am currently unemployed. Hopefully that's going to change soon and we're all going to get back to work. For now, I'm just calling this practice for retirement. Who knows how long it's going to go on for, but hopefully it's not too long. Okay, I got a mail call from Bill's Allotments. He doesn't make videos anymore, but everybody knows who Bill is. And he sent me some more of the heritage peas. He sent some last year. The germination on them was really poor, and I think they were for everybody. So he sent me the Kent Blue again, and he's also sent a bean that he never sent last year. This one's called Pongo. Thank you so very much, Bill. You don't have to do this. These are really appreciated. Okay, why don't we take a look at what's going on in the greenhouse. It's time for me to get my onions out, and this year I'm focusing mainly on storage onions. Usually what I do is I get them going in trays like this, and then I pop them on into individual pots, and then I put them out after that. And they grow a lot bigger than this normally, but this year I've just not bothered. I'm just going to throw these out pretty much as they are. I'm going to just cut them down to about 4 inches. It's not going to harm them, and it makes them easier to handle when I put them out. Alright, so let's get the bed ready and then we'll come back to the onions. I'm going to grow the onions in exactly the same bed as I did last year. I'm not going to bother rotating as I haven't encountered any pests or diseases. I top dressed the bed with some of last year's potato compost, and then I'm going to add a little bit of multi-purpose shake and feed. After a few years of doing this, I found that it's easier to take the onions over to a table, tip them out and get them ready for planting. Trust me, it's a lot easier on the back. Now before planting, there's a few people that would trim the roots at this stage. I'm not really sure why, and it's not something I'm going to bother doing myself. When I plant the seedlings, I like to make a hole, drop the seedling in and fill back around it, and then I'll gently pull the seedling up until the white part at the base is nearly exposed, and then tuck it in. The types I'm growing this year are Patterson, Zoe and Calibra for storage onions, Kelsey and Elsa Craig for sweet onions, and then I'm going to plant some single rows of a white onion called White Wing. Now I'm hoping that each row of the white onions will serve as a visual divider between each type. Any extras I'm bunching together and planting them in an old spare bed in the corner of the garden. I'll use these as green onions as and when I need them. In the last vid I made some carrot boxes and I've been letting them settle for a little while. But now it's time to do a bit more on the bed that I topped off with river sand. I want to grow stump carrots in this bed, and I'm coring out holes about 18 inches deep using these cardboard tubes. Then I'm going to fill all the holes in using a fine shop bought potting soil. I'm using some used plastic cups with the bottoms cut off as collars for each barrel, and then I'm going to give everything a good soak. I'll probably give it another day or so to settle, and then I'll be sowing some seed. Right, let's take a look at our indoor grow shelves. One of the first things you might notice is that I've got a lot of empty shelves. I'm not using them as much as I thought I was going to. I thought at this time of year they'd be absolutely stuffed to the hilt, but aside from peppers and onions, I've got things going a lot later than I normally do this year. Starting at the top left, we have some succulents that I bought in over winter. Some of them are tender, some of them are not so tender. I bought them in, one, so as the tender ones didn't die, and two, because I like looking at them and looking after them. And then moving on, we got basil. Now there's basil all over these shelves. I've grown loads and loads of it, and we eat lots of it. This one I've been using as cut and come again, and right now it needs cutting again. Moving along, these are the first sowings of the peppers that I did. I've got quite a few growing. I can't think of all of them right now. These have been pinched out once, and you'll probably see here that the new shoots are coming through. I got a couple of trays of them, and they've been sown over the course of a month. On the next shelf we have a mistake sowing of basil. Basically, I've never grown basil from seed before. I always bought plug plants at the end of May, and then I popped them out and we would crop them all and make loads and loads of pesto. Well, this year I decided I was going to grow it from seed instead of buying plugs, because it really is cheap to grow from seed. You get a lot of seed for a very small amount of money. Now I got these going about 6 weeks ago, and these are probably ready to go out now. Unfortunately, out is not ready for these, so I think what we're going to do is probably just cut all this and use it. I might pass some on to some of my friends. I've also got a nice glass of Merlot that I've been growing for, I don't know, the last half an hour. Moving down, we have another sowing of basil, and this sowing is probably the one that's going to be going outside at the end of May. Hopefully in about 6 weeks these will be the same size as the ones we've just looked at. Just here we have a few pepper seedlings that have sown very late. Basically this is a bit of an experiment for myself. I just want to see how late I can sow peppers and still get a good return. And then next up I got a whole bunch of tomato seedlings that I've got going. I got about, I don't know, probably about 12 different types going, and I've just transferred these from being in the seedling trays into small pots of their own. And then we have a whole bunch of rosemary seedlings that I got going. I've struggled in the past growing rosemary. It does take a long time to germinate, but this time I've had a bit of success by stratifying the seeds. I placed the seeds in the freezer for about a month, and then I sown them, and then I waited about 45 to 60 days for them to germinate. It really does take a long time. However, I am going to get a lot of plants from this. I'm not sure how many of these or how long these will be outside for this year, but most of them will be coming back in again for the winter. These are for a long-term plan. And then finally we have some sweet potatoes sitting in jars of water. Let me just put that down a minute. Basically I want to grow some sweet potatoes this year. It's a very long process, and it requires a long season, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it, but I do need to grow some slips to start with, and these have been sitting in these jars of water now for, I don't know, about a month, maybe 5 weeks, and we're starting to get some growth going on, so that's pretty encouraging. I've got about 6 weeks, I think, to get them to a big enough size to be able to plant out. More about those down the road in another video if I'm successful in growing these slips. Well, that's a look at things as they are so far. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. give it a thumbs up and stay safe. Until next time, cheers.